Hello, welcome to the Positive Mental Health Symposium. I'm Matt Perlstein from EQ for Peace, and we are trying to figure out how to do our mental health, all of us too, me too, in a more positive way. It doesn't have to be a purely negative thing and going down. We do have to go down and learn how to manage our negatives, but we can go up and do more, being more positive. So our next speaker is Dr. Pavnita Singh. She is a has been working with us in a long time, has some real cool, simple step-by-step strategies for being able to take our things higher, take ourselves higher. And so I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And we are all here because we care for ourselves, we care for humanity, and we are trying to work on ourselves and work together to create a world which is a lot more aware, is making conscious choices. We are more intentional in the way we are living. It's something that we got to practice every single day, each one of us. And the more we practice, the more we get a hang of it, get a deeper understanding, but the journey goes on. I thought I'll just share some 4 simple principles of life which have worked for me, helps me keep away from stressful situations or falling in those patterns that we all have. So the one reminder I give myself as a life principle is to remember always that opposite values always coexist. It is never that one cannot be without the other. So our whole notion of I want to be always happy or always peaceful or always successful is not a very practical way of looking at life. So if I'm aware of light, the darkness also gives me awareness of light, or the night gives me awareness of day, and my failures give me awareness of my success. So this letting go of the always can be a huge relief. It can be a message to ourselves that I'm okay if I have my low days, and if I'm feeling angry at certain points of my life, unhappy, that's fine. It's just the other side of the coin. So that's one thing that helps me. The other is easier said than done, but to accept people and situations as they are. When I say acceptance, it's agreeing to disagree. If I know a lot of my friends are from US. If you are a Democrat and you support the policies, doesn't mean everyone else has to agree with me, but I can still be friends with you. So being in that space of acceptance that it's fine, we agree in some points and we disagree in some points. It's a powerful space to be in, because when I 100% choose to accept the person I'm working with, I also give that person the motivation to bring their best version out. And any journey with the other person first starts with me. So when I think of accepting the other, I can really do that if I'm completely accepting myself. So it's that way, the journey. Matt, do feel free to add whenever you deem fit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I acceptance is huge part of this whole thing. I agree with you. We say that there's 3 steps. One is awareness first, like you were saying. We got to be aware first. then we can accept, then we can take some action or not take some action based on, now that we know and we accept it, then what are we going to do about it? And like you said, accepting people and situations the way they are is a huge part of connecting, empathy, not feeling alone. Mira on the last one was given some statistics on how many people are lonely. Over half the people they were surveyed were felt lonely. Ouch, ouch, right?
Yeah, so true, so true. And
Yep.
and the zone that we can be friends, we can work together, and yet we may not agree on everything. And what I
Yeah.
think as correct need not be something correct for you, and that's fine. We are at peace with that.
Yes. Yeah, it's getting bad in the United States. There are very, very, very clearly two sides to beliefs, and people. There's so many friendships and families and such that have been torn apart because they disagree on which side to be on, and that's off we go. And there's no acceptance, or there's irritation and annoyance and anger and hatred even, and I need to you disagree with me, so I need to kill you. You need to be dead. And they're like, what? What? What?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And the third principle that helps me to, that I remind myself constantly and helps me a lot, is telling myself not to be a football of other people's opinions.
That's good. Yeah.
Because opinions are ever so impermanent. They keep changing, and we cannot be following that. So just being aware that how much of the talk around me is influencing my decisions, my choices that I'm making. So from simple things like, it's in to be fit and have a flat stomach, or it's fashionable to have salt and pepper look in your hair, or wear a certain kind of clothing. So how much is that a product? I mean, how much of that is part of my life because it's a talk around me, or is it something that I'm consciously choosing, maybe for my health or maybe for my happiness? It makes me happy. So being conscious of that, because it's like a reminder to myself that for me, my self is more important than my self-image. So let me make choices which are strengthening myself, and let me choose to clean myself rather than the mirror that is reflecting me. So that was one point. And
just a second. I think that's a huge point, really, actually, is I love how you put that. Be conscious that myself is more important than my self-image. Those are different, and very great distinction. Thanks for that.
And lastly, the last principle that helps me a lot is choosing not to question other people's actions or other people's words, because it just creates a lot of stress. I find we are so caught up in this vicious cycle of, we are stressed, we make mistakes, we feel miserable about it, we are miserable, so we make mistakes and we feel stressed, and we're just caught up in this cycle. So when I choose to be in a zone of compassion when I'm interacting with the other person, in a zone of gratitude, it just keeps a lot of weight away. It just keeps me a lot more free, and it gives that breathing space between two people to trust, to work together to help develop compassion or empathy, or the common grounds between people. And again, it truly starts with myself. So when I'm choosing to be more compassionate towards myself when I make mistakes, or I'm in certain moods and my behavior is not correct, when I choose to do that, it becomes easier for me to see the other person also like that and pass on that compassion. So I truly believe that compassion and empathy is a service towards ourselves and humanity. And it's this principle also really helps me to deal with situations in life, and to hold on to the direction that I would like to choose to.
Right on.
So yeah, those were the four principles that I wanted to share.
Okay, so you had them written. Do you have them written down there? Read them back again. So I was writing lots of notes about what you're saying. So just do the four if you would. Not sure if I got them all.
The first one is that opposite values are complementary. They coexist.
Okay.
So one does not exist without the other. You have light and darkness. You have day and night. You have happiness and sadness. They coexist. So letting go of the word always, let's always be happy or always be peaceful, letting go of that expectation from life.
Okay.
The second one is about accepting people and situations just the way they are, which includes agreeing to disagree, accepting the differences and different maybe approaches towards life, different ideologies.
Okay.
And the third one is choosing not to be a football of other people's opinions.
Okay.
Because it is more important to care for yourself rather than your self-image. So be conscious that when I'm making my choices, how much of it is influenced by the talk which is around, which includes expectations or the fashion pressure or the peer pressure, and how much of it is what I really truly want, something that nourishes me, that helps me in my direction.
Nice. Okay.
And the last one is not making a conscious effort to not seeing intention behind other people's actions, trying to dissect the actions or the words, choosing to be in a space of compassion. And honestly, that starts with ourselves. Compassion towards us, the way we look at our decisions, our behavior, and it's a big service to self, being compassionate. Yeah.
Great.
So those were the 4 points.
Yeah, those are great. Okay, I think I put them all in the chat. I hope I got them right. But they're all powerful things that we can do for ourselves and for making connections with others. And then you had one more item you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to share a fun tool. I call it the traffic signal awareness tool. It is inspired by one of the activities that we had done with 6 seconds for some festival. And so can I share screen? Am I also?
You should be able to.
Okay, let me see. Okay. So
and if you want, you could say a little quick introduction of who 6 Seconds is. Most people have never heard of them.
Okay, 6 Seconds is a global organization. They have branches in about 200 plus nations worldwide, and they are into training and researching in emotional intelligence. So they have some beautiful courses and very learnable and practical tools to practice emotional intelligence. And I've been with them for some time, and I conduct programs around that, I work with children and educators and parents. And yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you.
So this tool, it's called the traffic signal awareness tool. And just a moment. So it's a fun thing. I mean, if you have some colors around, it'd be great if you take out a sheet of paper and just let's make a traffic signal where you have the red, yellow, and the green light.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've seen that.
It's very simple, very sweet, but so it's such a lovely reminder. So you have red, yellow, and green. And the red is a reminder to stop. So, you know what? It's research tells us that on an average, on a daily basis, an average person faces almost 20 adversities. Small, medium size, big ones, but you know, that's what it is. So how do you go through the day? If you look back to the last week, were there certain situations where you thought, oh my God, I shouldn't have spoken that, or I shouldn't have behaved like that? So let's go back to one of those situations which you were not very happy with the outcome of the situation. And let's apply this tool there. So you are in that situation and the things are getting heated up. Now, if you're aware, you can always remember your stop light. And next, you can choose to calm down and probably think of what other ways can I handle this situation. And green is all about when you've thought of that, the options, pick up the best option of them and try it out, act on it. So is the outcome different now that you've chosen to do this? Though easier said than done. One, you know, I love this, this quotation of Viktor Frankl, which says, between a stimulus and a response, there is a space. I think it's such a powerful statement, and I love to remember this most of the times, that there is a space. I need to reach in that space. I need to get aware of that space. So there is a trigger for me. I'm going to respond, but I have a choice of being in that space and pausing there for some time. The next question is, how do I can stop, but then how do I pause? How do I calm myself down? Because my triggers have happened. My reaction antennas are out. In that, I find breath really effective. Really effective. It's the best friend we have.
What is it?
It's the best. It's the best friend that we have, our breath.
What? Breath?
Breath.
Oh. Yeah, I'm a big fan of breathing. I think breathing is a good thing. I'm gonna try and keep doing it for a while longer. But yeah, it's awesome.
So simple strategies of breathing, which, you know, I'm sure we all know, but it's all about practicing it at the right time, at the time when we need it. So one of the favorite ones that I love is, you know, whatever is in your hand. Usually my phone is in my hand. So I start practicing the square box breathing. So breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And I do this. And I actually do the finger movement. And I do
really?
3 rounds of that. And that helps me, that the slow breathing gives the signals to my body that, okay, there is no need to be in that fight or flight mode. There's nothing so threatening, calm down. Um,
Nice. That's cool. I never
another
heard that said before. That's great. Go ahead. Sorry.
another technique which is something that I love is the star breathing, where I'm forced to take 5 breaths, because every time I breathe in, then I breathe out, and I breathe in and out. And I have to do it 5 times because I need to complete my star. And by the time the star is complete, my body my body's messages to calm down, to look at the situation, from a calmer lens. The third one I would like to share is the balloon breathing, where you assume that there's a big balloon, that's a balloon in your stomach, and you want to blow it out. So you keep a hand on your stomach and you blow out. You take the breath in and your stomach is out, the balloon is blown out, and then in. So just doing 3 deep breaths like this can bring us back into that zone of being calm. And then I can always think of how do I want to handle the situation? What do I want my response to be? It's also always helpful to know that response can be more than 2. I always assume that my response should be more than 2. It should not just be between yes or a no. I have to think of a third response. I have to think of a fourth response. And that pushes the thinking. And then lastly, whatever my system, my capacity tells me that this could be the best response, then try it out. Try it out with that best intention that, I want the outcome to be positive, so let's give this a shot. So if you want to practice this, it's a lovely exercise. We could, always think of a situation which didn't go well, and then think of the stopping there, calming ourselves down, thinking of more options, and then choosing one of the options. And then write down, if I had done that, what would the outcome be? Yeah, it works. It works.
That's cool. I especially like to give yourself more than 2 choices, because a lot of times people actually they think they only have one choice. So often as well, this is how I've always done it, or this is, well, it might have a picture in my head of when this happens, then this happens right afterward, right? Somebody yells at me, I got to yell back at them, or somebody hits me, I got to hit them back, kind of thing. And that's what they've seen. And you go, well, that is one of the choices, but it's only one of the choices. What's another choice? I find with helping people, working with people, a lot of times they don't see very many choices. And one of the things we can help people with is to say just what I just said. It's like, okay, yep, what do you think? What do you see as your choices right now? Well, I got to do this. And I'm like, no, that's one of the choices. What else could you do? Well, I could walk away. Yep. What else could you do? Well, I could go and write it down and deal with my emotions. Yep. What else could you do? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And that allows freedom. And I'm agreeing with you that that's a really cool concept. I also like the different breathing techniques. Like I said, I'm a big fan of breathing. I'm hoping to do it a little bit longer. And but consciously breathing puts us back into us and gets us back calm again and back into our body, kind of thing, instead of all fired up from our amygdala hijack and stuff that's going on when our emotions get really high. So breathing, conscious breathing is a beautiful concept.
So yeah, that's what it is. And I would like to end with again, Viktor Frankl's quotation, which I just said one line, but it's just so beautiful, that between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. I just love this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just sharing my screen because I put this in almost every one of my presentations, that exact quote. So I agree with you. I agree with you. And what that's saying, the biggest part of that thing, I think, is A, that we have a choice, but B, it's about that its stimulus is outside of us usually, and our response is inside of us. And that's where the space is between what happens and how we take what happens, how we perceive and how we judge and how we take it in. That's where we are big choice. We have lots and lots of choices. So no matter what's happening outside of us, we get to choose what's happening inside of us. And that is our choice. Love that word.
Yeah.
Very good points. Good. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Singh. Very good. Great information. I like the red, yellow, and green lights and such. And this is stuff that everybody needs to hear. I hope we can. I appreciate you caring. Like you said, we are here because we care, and that's really true. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Bet. All right. Did you want to put in any information in the chat real quick about how to get a hold of you or anything, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead. All righty. Yeah, go ahead. You got to kind of have to do it now because I'm going to stop this recording and then someone else will be on. All right. So keep breathing. There you go. There we go. Okay, so that'll be part of the recording. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop now. And again, I appreciate your help.